Where are we? Describe a project or situation that best demonstrates your analytical abilities. My analytical abilities. Let me tell a story how I chose to work with the palette of programs that I work today. Or let's tell a bit wider story how I got into hardware and software. So first, as per hardware, when I was a little kid, like my son over there. Today also him, you can't take him away from PC and tablet and Minecraft and there are three playing. Yeah, so I was the same. I was, but at that time my parents didn't have really money to buy me those things. So I had some friends who had or Commodore 64 or Atari, and I would spend as much time there as I could. Or on some occasions I had a German neighbor who they bought a house here, and when he came he brought Atari and he would give me for the weekend. For that weekend I wouldn't sleep. Yeah. In the daytime we would play together, but when he would leave in the night to go home to sleep, in the night I would be playing. But that was when I was a child and I was playing games. When I got to work and to earn money so I can afford some things, I did, as I was really very infatuated with technology. And when I went to work on a cruise ship, well, space in the cabin is very small and you can't really have, you can, but desktop computer is not convenient. So I was buying laptops, and I was buying laptops from here, still in the 90s. And I would change those laptops pretty often as I wanted to be ahead and stay ahead with technology that was coming. I could do that because I would usually find a good deal, as I was in that all the time, and my friends would take my advices and also they would buy the machines from me. I was even going, to help them to buy their own, to advise them what to buy. Anyway, so I was changing. I went from Dell, Compaq, Sony, and then I came to the top, which was at that time was Alienware computers, and I had several of those. And those Alienware computers were one of the first laptops that had RAID integrated hard drives. Yeah, that was a pretty big thing. Yeah, at that time the processors were still just a single processor. Now we have multiple processors, machines, and multiple cores and stuff. Hyper-threading, and yeah, it's much nicer now. But at that time, yeah, that was also very nice. That was one of my valves, as I was working very hard, and then I would be, you don't have much besides going to the crew bar with your friends or having a lunch outside. What you do? So I was in that, because that was really my joy. And when I came home, I built my first machine. Actually, I chose the parts and then I gave to one of my guys who do that, whose job is to repair computers and networks. Yeah, that was my first machine, and then when I got to need, after that I bought some really nice laptop too, and I got rid of that, and because I needed a bigger desktop PC, and the parts that what look at and the parts that I needed, I couldn't get in Croatia. So I went with the bus to Austria to pick up the parts that I got today, that I work with. And that's per the hardware. Yeah, also even for those parts, I barely got to have money. Don't do that. That's not nice. Hey, that's not nice. Anyway, also I took a credit for some parts of my computer today. Then, so that's per the hardware, and all that time, all those last 20 years, I was working on different software, like many kinds, and that's where this comes to play, these analytical abilities. With the dozen of software programs that I work today, how I chose them, I went through so many different kinds, so I see which ones are the best and which suits me personally the best. As that's not easy to choose. I spent so much time and effort in learning different other programs, and these too, as with Adobe Palette and with Microsoft Office palette of programs, software, I got acquainted like 15 years ago or more. And I was working on demos and trials, and in that time, that was the way to get acquainted with. It was very expensive to buy those programs, but you had demos, and countless times I was installing those demos and trials. I didn't make money with it, but I was getting acquainted with them for a long time and learning about it, learning how to work with it. Also, one of my first programs that I got that I bought was 3D Home Architect. Yeah, and I spent some time with that too. While still on ships. When I came home, as I said, I took a credit and I bought a professional architecture program that I worked with for the last, I don't know, I think it was version 10 or 11 when I started, and now we have version 20 already. Yeah. So analytical abilities. The materials that I integrated in my designs, I did that the same. I was studying and learning and examining and making investigations and to choose the materials that I'm going to be integrating in my houses and homes when they come to see the light of the day. Yeah. So I take a very wide, and then I examine, and then choose, and then examine again, and then choose, and then examine again, and then we come to have the best of the best. Yeah. So, yeah. Kids, say bye.